Hello, this is Joshua Drum, and I'm giving the Sprint 1 progress report for this team. This team consists of myself, Joshua Drum, Fred, Viraj, Gangadhar, Anish, and Robbie. So the goal of this sprint was to, for our web form to be able to have users register, log in, and to have a basic UI that they can mess around with. And I believe that while we didn't complete all of our user stories and all the tasks related, I believe we achieved the goal of this sprint. The only user story that was not finished had to do with registering for accounts on the cloud on a server instead of just running locally. But all the functionality works locally so far, so despite this, I think we reached the goal of our sprint. And as you can see up here, we greatly increased the business value of our web form to 69% through the completion of our user stories. And we have three main user stories that we focused on. One was for registering a new account. One is for logging into the application. And the last one was for the graphical user interface. Now, going to the actual website, we can first register for an account. I'm going to give a name, an email, and I'm going to give it a basic password. And I hit submit, and it says I have successfully registered, and it takes me to the login page. And if I check the database, I can see that this account that I just created, Josh Drum, with this email, is now in the database. And next, I can also log in to my account. And now, once I've logged in, I'm back on the main page, but I can see example posts. These posts here are not real posts from the database since there's no functionality yet to add posts, but they serve the same purpose for how a post would be displayed. So I can click on a post and see the title, its description, and some example comments as well. And there's a user interface to also leave a comment, although the functionality is not implemented yet. Going back, I can also hit create a post to see the user interface for creating a post. Lastly, I can hit the logout button. Once I do that, the session I have will end, and I can then go to login again once I want to post something in the future. And in this sprint, each of the following individuals worked on the following tasks. Fred was focusing on web deployment and the login logout button. Viraj focused on the database creation, registration messages, and the logout functionality. Gangadhar focused on unsuccessful registration message and redirection to login page after successful registration. Anish focused on storing user information in the database and password validation. Robbie focused on the logout message and the login registration pages. And me, Josh, focused on the main user interface for the website's theme, and the user interface for entering, creating, and viewing new posts and comments. Lastly, we can take a look at the backlog. And for each of these stories we have, all of the tasks will be closed except for this one here. So scrolling down, all these tasks were successfully closed and reviewed by each other. And this is the only task yet to be completed, but it will be completed next sprint. And that concludes this progress report.